I've been painting watercolor for about 8 to 10 years, and I love the medium. I absolutely love the fluidity of it, and I love the fact that there's a certain amount of unpredictability that you can create if you want to, and you can rein it in if you don't want to. I love painting in layers and creating depth of color, and I like the contrast when you can absolutely have no pigment, no color at all, or just very, very pale colors. I don't always have a painting in mind when I begin. Sometimes I'm inspired by something I've seen, but I know there's a certain point where it takes off, where I'm totally going in another direction, and it's more like the paint, and the flow of the paint is really guiding the painting rather than anything realistic. And for me, that's when it really becomes the magical part of using watercolor, when the combination of water and pigment sort of takes over and creates things that you might not have even imagined. It's just mostly that you have to capture it when it occurs on the paper.
Color, I find I enjoy the most because I love the transparency of watercolor. I like taking the colors and blending them in, and I enjoy the vibrant result that you get with some of this work. I don't like to be too detailed. I try to keep it as loose as possible. My favorite subject matter is wildlife. That is my favorite subject matter. I also love to do water, seascapes, and things like that, as well as figures, particularly children doing different things on their own. So again, watercolor gives me the chance to take a subject, put it down on paper, and do it as, I'm not going to say as quickly as possible, but as, well, it's enjoyable. That's the only thing I can say. It's just getting those colors with the water, blending them, and you have an image.
Why watercolor? I'd like to tell you why it's watercolor. What we'll take is a transparency, which leaves light to enlighten the color and to fill the space with a clear transparency of any color, We merge and we unite and we get grays, so easily done. And it's done in a cleanly way, no oil, no acrylic, no of anything. So therefore, as we see what's happening with the water, and we merge them, and we can take different colors and create another color because it runs. As you can see, we're running, and that's exactly what water does. And we know that, and therefore, water is the color that we use, the transparency, and the medium is watercolor. And this is what happens. And I think, oh, that's good. That's a nice green. Now we need a purple. I'm sure I have a purple here somewhere, and I think that's it. No. We'll put it all together. Put it all together. And oh, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, what a color. There it is. It's an abstract. There you go. We're going to do a little pencil work on it, and it's an abstract. Look at the white areas and how clear. It's telling you it's transparent. Oh, wow. Anybody want to frame this? You can have it.
I've been an artist all my life, born with a paintbrush in my hand, and started doing watercolors about 15, 20 years ago. I decided to pick up watercolor because I also work as a jazz musician and found that all the philosophies that I had studied of jazz applied directly to watercolor, with improvisation and creating a statement very quickly with no inhibitions and no thought of coming back. The fact that the watercolor is a transparent medium I really like, because once you make your statement, that's it. And it relates to jazz in such a way that anytime you play a song, you never play it the same way twice. Just as you paint the same subject, it'll never be the same twice. And you always have that excitement about improvisation, just as you do with the music. You do with the watercolor as well.
Okay.
I love watercolor. I particularly love the white of the paper and leaving areas of white. And I love the fact that the water flows and that the paint, so with watercolor you can paint very, very wet, or you can layer and do dry brush. So I like the variety of the watercolor. And you're never really completely in control because things that happen with the watercolor happen because of what the weather is like, what mood you're in. So it's always kind of an experiment. And those are some of the reasons I look to watercolor.
What I love about doing watercolors is that there's such freedom, and at the same time there's discipline that has to be exercised. Because the freedom is that no matter how experienced you become, you never know exactly what's going to happen because it has a mind of its own. And that's the wildness that I love about it. But at the same time, you have the discipline of having a plan in your mind, if not necessarily on paper, of where you want your center of interest, where you want your lights, because you have to keep the white of the paper where you want the light color. So it's a mixture of the sublime and the ridiculous, and I love it. Amen.
Very good.
Smaller brush, more detail, more control. That's going, see, here is dry, here is wet, and where it's wet, it bleeds off and gets this wonderful fuzzy effect. The wonder of watercolor. So the watercolor artist is working with the water and with the pigments. It's a marriage, and you work with each other. Another round, you see, this is like 2, 0, 0, 0. There's a 1, 0, a 2, 0, a 3, 0, 5, 0, and this is for really detailed, really small little lines. And so there's lots of different brushes, lots of different techniques. We can do a dry brush. Let's do a dry brush here. See that? See that? Where it skips over the paper because it's called the dry brush, and you have all the white spots in there. So there's all these things that go on, and there's a lot of serendipity to watercolor. It's fabulous. Try it. You'll love it.